Welcome to the Conscious Kinky Podcast, where we explore sexuality, connection, and power through awareness and intentional choice.
At the Kink Collective, we help people reframe their relationship with sexuality, build deeper connections, and become safe spaces in the world.
Each episode invites reflection, not performance.
And the conversation continues inside Conscious Conversations, our live community space. Welcome to the conversation.
What if your life is not being shaped by one big decision, but by the choices you keep repeating?
What if the pattern that you keep choosing is quietly building your future?
Because one choice absolutely matters, but repeated choices becomes identity.
Repeated choices turn into character. It becomes the trust that you have with yourself and other people. Repeated choices become the life people experience with you.
So the question's not only, what do I believe?
Or what do I want?
The deeper question is this: what am I building through the choices I keep repeating?
And today we're closing month 10 with that exact question. Welcome to the Conscious Kinky Podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Joshua.
This podcast exists to help people understand themselves more clearly, relate more honestly, and stop repeating patterns they don't fully understand yet.
This month we're closing month 10. The theme has been choice, discipline, and integrity.
In episode 1, we talked about choice, the moment where awareness becomes action.
We asked, what do I choose when I can see the old pattern and still have access to it?
In episode 2, we talked about discipline. Not discipline as punishment, not as shame, but discipline as devotion to who we're becoming.
Devotion's the big one. That really changed my relationship with it. In episode 3, we talked about integrity. When my behavior matches my values.
And today we bring the whole month together with the repeated choice.
The repeated choice. Because a single choice can be powerful, but repeated choices become the structure of a life.
This episode is about the choices that you make over and over again. The ones that are shaping your relationships, your trust, your self-respect, your patterns, your direction, and who you're becoming.
Because growth is not only what you realize, growth is what you keep choosing after the realization.
So key.
The theme for month 10 is this: your growth becomes real through the choices you repeat.
And that has been the thread all month, right? Choice is the moment. Discipline is the practice. Integrity is the alignment.
And repeated choice is where all of it becomes a life.
Week 1 asked, what do I choose when the old pattern is available?
Week 2 asked, what structure helps me keep choosing?
Week 3, we said, does my behavior match what I say that I value?
And for this week, week 4, we're going to ask, what am I building through the choices I keep repeating?
That question matters because a lot of us want a different life while repeating the same behaviors.
We want more trust and keep avoiding the conversations that build it.
We want more honesty, but we smooth over things, smooth over the truth a little bit.
We talk about wanting more safety, but keep using control to manage uncertainty.
We want intimacy, but we keep performing instead of letting ourselves be seen.
We say we want more self-respect, but keep abandoning and self-erasing ourselves to keep the peace.
This week asks us to look honestly at the life our repeated choices are actually creating.
Not to shame ourselves, but to become conscious enough to choose again.
Here we go.
I've had to learn that the life I say I want has to be built through the choices I make repeatedly, not just through the vision I have for myself.
That's such a big distinction, right? Because it's easy to have a vision. It's easy to say, I want to be more grounded, or I want to be honest, or I'd like to be more trustworthy, or I'm going to be more present.
But then the question becomes, what am I choosing every day that builds that?
Exactly. Because the version of us we imagine doesn't become real unless our choices and behavior start agreeing with it.
For me, that's meant looking at the places where I want the identity before I've repeated the practice, where I want to be seen as grounded, but am I choosing the pause? I want to be seen as accountable, but am I choosing repair? Can I fix the shit I break? I want to be seen as honest, but am I choosing the truth when it costs comfort?
And that's where the work becomes specific. It's not who do I want to be in theory, right? But what am I choosing that makes me real?
And sometimes the repeated choice is small. It's choosing not to respond immediately, choosing to ask instead of assume, choosing to come back to a conversation, or not to punish someone's boundary, choosing to keep my word and to check in with myself before saying yes.
For me, the repeated choice has often been not about abandoning what I know just because the old pattern feels easier. The repeated choice to pause, for me to name what's true, the repeated choice of not smoothing something over just to make a moment feel better.
And those choices do not always feel dramatic.
But they build something.
And that's the point of this episode. The life you're building may be hidden in the choices that seem small.
All right, so let's talk about repeated choices and identity.
Identity is not only what we call ourselves, it's what we practice.
If I repeatedly choose avoidance, avoidance becomes part of how I live.
If I choose honesty and I repeatedly choose it, honesty becomes more available.
When I repeatedly choose defensiveness, defensiveness becomes my default.
When I repeatedly choose repair, repair becomes part of my character.
When I choose self-abandonment over and over again, I teach myself that my truth is negotiable.
If I repeatedly choose self-respect, I teach myself that my truth has a place.
And that's why these repeated choices matter, because they're not isolated moments. They're votes for who we're becoming.
Every repeated choice is telling you something. It's saying, this is the road I'm building.
And eventually the road becomes easier to travel,
Brick by brick.
for better or for worse.
That's why the work isn't just, what choice do I make once?
The real work is, what choice am I willing to repeat until it becomes a part of me?
Repeated choices don't only shape us, they teach people how to experience us.
People learn whether we are reliable by what we repeat.
They learn whether we're honest by what we repeat.
They learn whether or not we can repair by how many times we do it.
They learn whether our no means no and our yes means yes.
They learn whether we listen, if we return to things when we need to, whether we can follow through, whether we can handle feedback, whether we can respect our boundaries and others' boundaries, and where we become defensive when truth enters the room.
That's why one good moment doesn't always rebuild trust. Repeated choices builds the evidence to build that trust.
And one bad moment doesn't always destroy trust, but repeated unaddressed patterns do destroy trust.
And that's significant to point out. Trust is often built or weakened by the repetition.
People can forgive a moment, but they adapt to a pattern.
They adapt to what keeps happening, either bracing for it, working around it, or just stop asking, stop expecting. They stop bringing the truth.
And that's why this episode asks, what are my repeated choices teaching people about me?
Not what do I hope they know, because that's easy. Not what do I mean, what are they learning from what I repeat in action, in word, in behavior.
Exactly. Every pattern builds something, even if we don't mean to build it.
Yeah. Avoidance builds distance.
Defensiveness builds caution.
Inconsistency builds uncertainty.
People-pleasing builds resentment in you and the other person.
Control builds tension.
Over-explaining is exhausting.
Honesty builds clarity.
And repair is what builds trust.
Boundaries build respect.
Consistency is the road to safety.
Presence builds intimacy.
And that's why we ask, what kind of life am I building through the choices I keep repeating?
Because a life may not be built by what you intend. It may be built by what you repeat.
So you may intend closeness, but repeat avoidance.
You can intend trust, but repeat inconsistency.
You can intend honesty, but repeat silence.
And safety, but repeat control.
Your intention might be connection, but instead what you repeat is performance.
And the sad and wild part is the repeated choice will often become stronger than the intention.
Always, all the time. So we have to look at what we're actually practicing.
A lot of repeated choices seem small, but they're not.
Choosing to pause before reacting is not small.
I could use that. That's a big one for me. Choosing to tell the truth sooner isn't small.
You've gotten better. Choosing to repair instead of disappearing is not a small thing.
Saying yes when your body knows it's a no isn't small.
Checking in rather than assuming is also not small.
Listening before defending isn't small.
Choosing to follow through when no one is applauding you is huge.
These choices are different, are how a different life begins.
Transformation is not always one giant. It's almost never one giant breakthrough. Sometimes transformation is the repeated practice of one small, honest choice.
Hit that over there.
This?
Yeah. Yep. Over time, those choices become evidence. Evidence to trust yourself, evidence to others, evidence that something has changed. The evidence is very, very important.
We also need to name that old choice may still have a pull.
Yeah, it has many pulls. Choosing differently does not always mean the old pattern disappears.
You might still feel the urge to defend.
I often feel the urge to defend. I feel the urge to defend, sometimes to avoid, sometimes to be in control. Sometimes I feel the urge to people please.
Sometimes you might still feel the urge to shut down, right? Or the urge to explain yourself until the discomfort goes away. That doesn't mean that the work is failing. It means the choice is still active.
Because sometimes growth looks like the old pattern is still available, but it's no longer the only option.
And that's powerful because many people think growth means I never feel the old impulse again. Like I become aware of it once and then I never have to deal with it again.
And it doesn't mean that. Often it means I feel the impulse and I choose differently more often.
That is the repeated choice, not perfection, but practice.
And that's where I'm at in my process. Repeated choices build self-trust.
Every time you keep returning to what matters, you teach yourself, I can trust me.
I can trust me. Every time you choose honesty over avoidance, it grows.
Every time you choose repair over pride, your self-trust grows.
Every time you choose a boundary over resentment, every time you choose consistency over convenience. Self-trust is not built by one promise. It's built by the pattern of keeping promises to yourself.
And when you break the promise,
You got to return.
that is part of self-trust too. Not never missing, but returning when you do.
Exactly. And that's one that I'm still working on, is the ability to return. Self-trust grows when you know, even if I fall out of alignment, I can come back. Even if I miss the practice, I can return. Even if the old pattern shows up, I can repair.
That's how repeated choice becomes the foundation, right? Repeated choices also build relational trust, right?
Because people experience the pattern of your behavior. They experience what you repeatedly choose.
If you repeatedly return after hard conversations, people will learn that with you, rupture doesn't mean abandonment.
Yeah, that's one it's taken me to get from behind. If you repeatedly honor boundaries, people learn there's no is safe with you.
If you can listen over and over again without getting defensive, people learn that their truth has somewhere to land.
If you consistently have follow through, people will learn that your word has weight.
If you can repeatedly pause whenever you're activated, people learn that your nervous system doesn't always run the room.
And that's trust.
That's been a hard one for me.
It's not built by saying you can trust me.
It's built by being experienced as being trustworthy over and over again.
And this is why month 10 matters. Choice, discipline, integrity, and repetition are all relational. They shape us. They shape how people feel around us.
It shapes whether or not people can relax, whether they can be honest with us, if they can trust our yes and our no, if they believe that we can repair.
Repeated choice makes growth visible. One of the hardest questions in this week's work is this: what am I becoming through the choice I keep defending?
Because sometimes we defend choices that are costing us. We defend avoidance by calling it peace. We defend control by calling it care. Sometimes we defend people-pleasing and just call it kindness.
Yeah.
We defend inconsistency and then call it freedom.
We defend over-explaining by calling it clarity.
And we can defend defensiveness by calling it honesty. Well, I'm just telling it like it is.
Yeah. The question is this: what is that choice building?
Not can I justify it,
Because I can justify it,
right?
but what is it creating over time?
Because many things can be justified in the moment. But the pattern still has a consequence.
That's why repeated choice asks us to be honest. What am I defending that is quietly costing me the life I say I want?
That question may reveal the next place the work is asking for courage. One way to make this practical is to ask, what would happen if I repeated one aligned choice for 30 days?
Not 10 choices, not a complete personality overhaul, just one aligned choice.
For 30 days, I choose to pause before responding when I'm activated.
For 30 days, I choose to tell the truth instead of smoothing it over.
For 30 days, I choose to return to hard conversations within a set amount of time.
For 30 days, I choose to ask before assuming.
For 30 days, I choose to write down what I commit to and follow through.
For the next month, I choose to check in with my body before saying yes.
For that same amount of time, I choose one practice that reflects who I am becoming.
That's how repeated choice becomes visible. It becomes trackable and embodied.
And it gives you evidence, not just hope, but real evidence.
Evidence matters, and that's one of the
Yeah.
things I talk about. I need to see it.
Right.
Now let's apply the framework, not by repeating definitions, but by using them. We start with I for introspection, and it asks, what repeated choices are shaping me? And what am I choosing again and again? What pattern is becoming my identity through repetition?
It also asks, what do I say I want? And what do my repeated choices reveal that I'm practicing?
That question isn't here to shame you. It's here to tell the truth. Because once you can see what you're repeating, you can begin to choose differently. Let's start with C for container.
So the container asks, what ongoing structure supports the life I want to build?
If the repeated choice matters, it needs support. Either a rhythm, a reminder, a weekly check-in, or a pause practice. It could use community, a journal prompt, a repair agreement, an accountability structure.
Container helps repeated choice become sustainable. It gives your growth somewhere to live. A is for authenticity.
Authenticity asks, are my repeated choices honest reflections of who I'm becoming?
Not who I say I want to be someday or who I hope people think I am, but who am I practicing being right now?
Authenticity asks, what does my repetition reveal? What is my true behavior? What am I ready to stop pretending is aligned? Next is V for vulnerability.
Vulnerability asks, can I stay with the slow, quiet work of becoming?
And that's important because repeated choice is not always exciting, and it's not always going to be praised, and it's not always dramatic.
Sometimes vulnerability is choosing the same honest practice again and again without knowing if or when people will even notice.
Sometimes vulnerability is admitting, I need to keep practicing this. I'm not done with the work yet. This is still where the work is.
That humility is part of growth. So S is for safety.
Safety is going to ask, do my repeated choices create more trust, clarity, and steadiness over time?
Do people experience more room with me, more honesty, more follow through? Do I repair? Am I being consistent?
Safety is often built by repetition. Not one good moment, but repeated, and here's the word again, evidence.
That's how people begin to trust that things are changing, right? Is with the evidence.
With the evidence.
All right.
That's how you can start to believe that it's changing.
Right.
Fuck everyone else.
Right.
But for you, you need the evidence.
All right, let's look at this repeated choice thing through the lens of MISS, because what we repeat becomes part of how people experience connection with us. M is for meet. At the meet stage, repeated choice asks, what do people meet in my repeated
Why
behavior?
did you change your earrings? That's not repeated, that's new. Do they meet someone reliable, avoidant, or honest, inconsistent? Do they meet a safe person or a defensive person? What about accountable or unclear?
What people meet is shaped by what we repeatedly bring. These are you and Natalie's birthstones.
Really?
Yeah.
Next is I for invest. At the invest stage, repeated choice asks, what am I building through repetition?
Right? Am I building trust, distance, clarity, confusion, safety, resentment, self-respect? Like, what are we building here through our repeated behavior over time?
I love the earrings, Bo.
Thanks.
Investment is where repeated choice becomes a pattern, and the pattern becomes the relationship's reality. Next is share information.
At the share information stage, repeated choice asks, can I communicate my commitments clearly?
That might sound like this. I'm practicing returning to hard conversations. It's not always easy. I'm committing to pausing before I respond. That's my Achilles heel. Am I working on asking instead of assuming? Am I choosing to honor my no before resentment builds?
That's a good one. Clear commitments help people understand what you're practicing, but the commitment still has to become experience. It can't just be what you say. The other S is for shared experience.
At the share experience stage, repeated choice asks this. Can others experience the life I'm building through my choices?
Do they experience the change? Can they feel the difference? Do they see the follow through? Do they notice that you've returned? And can they trust the pattern?
This is where repeated choice becomes real. When others can experience who you're becoming. So now we bring this back to you, because all of us are building something through repetition. The question is whether we're building consciously.
These questions are not here to shame you. They're here to help you see the direction your repeated choices are taking you.
What are you practicing? How about defending? What are you ready to stop choosing? And what are you ready to choose again and again?
Take your time, bring the questions into your journal, and then bring them to Conscious Conversations. And ask, what kind of life am I building through what I keep repeating?
So when we jump into these breakout rooms, we're going to step into the first set, awareness and orientation. For the first set and the second set, take about 3 minutes per question. After we read the question, pause the video, answer the question. The goal is to examine what your repeated choices are creating. Don't attack yourself. This is to see your patterns, to see what patterns you're building over time. So I'm going to ask the question, pause it before we answer, and then you answer, take 3 minutes, and then come back. What kind of life am I building through the choices I keep repeating? What are my patterns creating over time? What direction are my repeated choices taking me? What direction are my repeated choices taking me?
I don't know. I like to think, I've been doing this work for a minute. I like to think that I'm choosing better behavior. I'm choosing more trustworthy behavior. I'm choosing more honest. I like to think that I'm doing those things. And what I really think the pattern that's changed for me the most is being able to get feedback. I used to be terribly defensive about feedback. Anytime anybody brought something to my attention that made it seem like I had landed in a way that was contrary to my values, I would get so defensive. And I like to think that even though I can feel it inside me, that I don't act on it anymore, that I'm able to like get past it and take in the feedback so that I can do something with it to amend my behavior further.
I think the what I'm trying to get from behind, and I think I'm starting to do it, is the speaking up for my needs. And the patterns that is created is resentment because I feel like I don't have needs that matter. And so changing that through the choices, by speaking up on what I need, it's allowing me to carry less resentment and less stress.
That's great.
Because when I don't speak up, you can tell. People can tell.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that person who, when I walk into a room, people brace.
Yeah. Awesome.
Question 2. What repeated choice is currently shaping me the most? Avoidance, honesty, discipline, defensiveness, repair, courage, self-abandonment, patience, fear? What choice is becoming part of me through repetition?
I don't know. I think honesty, because I'm practicing it. I'm consciously, actively trying to show up and tell the truth whenever I need to, whenever it's there for me to tell. So I think I'm practicing becoming a more honest person in reality, not just in my mind. So that's one area.
Yeah, I want to say courage or bravery in stepping into saying what I need to say. And the choice is to have courage or to be brave to say what I need to say. So that I don't want to sit in resentment. I don't want to sit wishing I had said something. I would rather move past the fear than sit in resentment.
I like that.
Did you answer 2?
I did.
Where do my small daily choices contradict the transformation I say I want? Where am I asking for a different life while repeating the same behaviors? Where do my choices not yet fully agree with my desired future? I think the lack of structure is my contradiction.
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna get on to the like promises I make myself and actions that I take, yeah.
Oh, we're just snitching on ourselves today.
If I go to the gym on Thursday, I'll have made 3 visits in one actual week's time.
You went today and yesterday?
I went today and Friday. And so if I go on Thursday, that would be Friday, Tuesday, and Thursday in 1 week.
Should I just put a fire under your ass to go to the gym every day?
I don't want to go every day. I want to go 3 times a week.
When you want to go?
Yeah, I want to go 3 times a week.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah. Should I put a fire under your ass to run?
So question number 4. Yes, you should. Did you answer 3?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. Where my small daily choices contradict the transformation I say I want when I'm,
the gym.
The gym,
All
or
right.
anything that has to do with self-care and self-betterment, right? I'm like, I have all of these high bars for myself, and then I fall short.
Number 4, what do people learn about me through my repeated behavior? Do they learn I'm reliable, avoidant, honest, inconsistent, safe, defensive, accountable, unclear? What does my repetition teach? Folks who've tuned into any of our fucking podcasts or these anything, at some point they may have heard about when I got called out for managing information. And what came up through this was the behavior I was doing was I was managing information so other people wouldn't get hurt. Their emotions, I was trying to keep them from feeling bad. And my then slave pointed out that what they learned about me through my repeated behavior is that I believe that there's permission in managing information. And I didn't want people to believe that it's okay to do that. because I wouldn't want information managed for me. But people learn permissions, either and how they engage with me, how I engage with them, how they engage with others, but they get permissions by my repeated behavior.
Yeah, I think that's true with anybody. What do people learn about me through my repeated behavior? I like to think that they learn that I keep trying no matter what. So in that way, I may not be reliable from the standpoint that I'm 100% at it all the time, but as we've been saying, perfection's not really the stated goal. That the goal is that, like, I'll keep trying. I'll keep coming back and working towards the better version of myself. All right, before moving into the second round, let's pause for a moment and take a breath and let the first set settle. In one sentence, what did you notice about yourself during that set of questions? And then in one word, what are you leaving that set of questions with?
Let that be enough. Let that reflection settle. You don't have to turn it into a full explanation. Just notice where your body went, where your mind went. Just notice what surfaced. Next is the second set of questions, integration and practice.
So the second set is about integration, not just seeing what your repeated choices are building, but choosing what you want to repeat with intention. Again, take 3 minutes per question, turn off the video after we say the question, then come back. So the next question here, what repeated choice would move me closer to the person I'm becoming? What action, pause, repair, boundary, truth? What practice? What needs repetition right now to become the person you most want to be?
I think for me, it comes back to courage to saying what I need to say.
Yeah.
And not allowing fear to trump my courage, my needs, my wants.
For me, I think it's some of it's discipline. It's discipline to do the things that I know I need to do even when I don't want to do them.
Yeah.
So that I become the person I want to be. All right. What structure would help this choice become part of my life? A reminder, a rhythm, some sort of accountability, maybe an accountability partner, a community, a container, a practice. What would help the choice become sustainable?
Someone for me to talk it through if I have a hard time saying it, someone I can sit with and talk through it so I can find the words. And in some cases, the courage to say what I need to say.
Do you have people you can do that with? Cool. I think for me, it would be accountability, right? Like getting out of my head and, like letting you hold me accountable for going to the gym, even though there's part of me that cringes at the idea of it. Some of the other things I think I have been doing, in all fairness to me, I've been trying to put us on a better course for eating with the food choices that we make and some of the things that I mean to do for myself. And still trying to be kind to myself through it, right? So accountability would be the one for me. All right, what relationship, commitment, or area of my life would change if I repeated this choice for 30 days? Where would the impact be most visible? What would become different if this choice had repetition behind it?
I think on my stress levels and my overall quality of life feeling, knowing that what I need to say is being said.
Yeah. I think if I could show up and say what I need to say consistently, people would get to relax around me a little bit more.
So question number 8. Question number 8 is, give us a second as we have technical difficulties happening at the moment. But as I scroll down to get to the place where I need to, I'm thinking about just the difficulty of how fear has trumped courage for me for decades. The fear of being too much, the fear of not being received, of not being heard, and what it means for me to need. Because what I've been speaking about for the last few fucking months now, I think, is having been conditioned as a provider, and what I mean by that is only having value in myself for how much I can provide, has been difficult, has created a wedge of sorts in me asking for what I need, because if I need something, then I'm not a provider.
Right. I've heard you talk about this.
So when I look at this, what am I ready to choose again and again because it reflects who I'm becoming? Stop moving around, fucking asshole. It's like, I want to stop being afraid. I want to stop being afraid of what it means to need.
Yeah. I want to stop being afraid of just telling the truth when I need to tell the truth.
Yeah.
I like this idea of this 30-day challenge, though.
Yeah. Was that your answer for 8?
Yes.
All right. So question review. Before we close, let's review the questions for the upcoming Conscious Conversation session. Month 10, episode 4. Sorry, apologies for the technical issues. Episode 4, the repeated choice. Building a life that reflects the work. Awareness and orientation, set 1. What kind of life am I building through the choices I keep repeating?
What repeated choice is currently shaping me the most?
Where do my small daily choices contradict the transformation I say I want?
Where do people learn about me through my repeated behavior? And again, in the between round reflection questions, in one sentence, what did you notice about yourself in that set of questions? And what's one word you're leaving that set of questions with?
Set 2, integration and practice. What repeated choice would move me closer to the person I'm becoming?
What structure would help me choose this to become this part of my life?
Number 7, what relationship, commitment, or area of my life would change if I repeated this choice for 30 days?
And then finally, what am I ready to choose again and again because it reflects who I am becoming? The repeated choice is where growth becomes visible. Not through one perfect moment or one big aha, but through practice, through returning, through choosing again and again.
Choice showed us the moment. Discipline gave us the structure. Integrity asked for alignment. And repeated choice asks, what life am I building through what I keep doing?
And that's exactly what we practice inside Conscious Conversations every Tuesday night and soon to be Saturdays, right? A live guided space where you can reflect, you can speak about your truth, you can hear yourself say what you need to say, you can listen to others reflect back what they believe and what's going on with them, you notice your patterns, you can practice these questions in real time, stay connected to the work long enough for it to actually change something.
That consistency matters, man. It works if it's consistent. Conscious Conversations meets every Tuesday at 7 and Saturday soon at noon. And for $30 a month, you get access to that live weekly discussion group, a place to reflect, practice, and stay connected to the work.
And for those who want more support, the Integration Circle gives you the Tuesday and Saturday conversations, a private WhatsApp group, community, and a live monthly session with us where you can ask questions, process what's coming up, and get support integrating what you're learning.
New podcasts release every Wednesday on Spotify and YouTube. So each week, you have the episodes to sit with before bringing the work into the Tuesday night conversation.
One choice matters.
But repeated choices build the life.
Repeated honesty builds trust.
Repeated repair builds safety.
Repeated boundaries build self-respect. Follow through builds reliability. So instead of only asking, what do I want?
Ask yourself this. What am I building through what I keep choosing?
That question can change your direction.
And one repeated choice at a time, your growth becomes something you can live. Next month, we move into month 11. It's fucking crazy. And we begin exploring the next layer of this work.
So after choice, discipline, integrity, we will look how this work continues shaping how we relate, how we lead ourselves, how we stay connected to who we are becoming.
Because the work doesn't end with one choice. It keeps asking, what will you practice now?
And that's where we're going next. Woohoo! New podcast episodes are released every Wednesday, and the work continues inside Conscious Conversations every Tuesday at 7 and soon to be Saturday at noon Eastern Time. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
See you then. Wow, month 11. It's fucking crazy.